The passionate and immature emotions of youth can sometimes become a perilous danger. Hidden beneath such emotional repression lies the risk of developing extreme personality disorders. The Hole, directed by Nick Hamm, vividly portrays the madness, impulsiveness, and unrestrained instincts of young people when faced with tender emotions that cloud their reason. The film leads the audience into an isolated space that creates a mysterious sense of horror within the adventure, while at the same time exposing the dark side of adolescent psychology. The movie is, in some respects, deeper than Crush, 2013, directed by Malik Bader. We also get to meet the beautiful young Keira Knightley in one of her early radiant roles, the performance that first brought her into the world of cinema. The film will reveal its content. To fully experience it, please return after watching. The main setting of the film takes place in a private boarding school in England, where only wealthy students can afford to study. The Hole is adapted from the 1993 novel After the Hole by British writer Guy Burt, his debut work written at the age of 18, which earned him the Whitbread Award for First Novel. From the very first moments, the film makes a strong impression with the image of a girl in a state of panic, her body covered in injuries, running into the school grounds. That girl is Liz, played by Thora Birch. After being taken to the hospital for emergency treatment and resuscitation, Liz begins to be interrogated by psychologist Philippa Horwood, portrayed by Embeth Davidtz. From there, through Liz's narration, the entire tragic story inside the Hole gradually unfolds. The film's plot is told through Liz's recollections, following a non-linear narrative style that takes the audience back to the past at Downside School, where they meet the teenagers in the story and witness the horrifying plan that befell the young girl. The group of friends consists of 4 people. First is Liz, who is also the best friend of Frankie, played by Keira Knightley. Frankie is a rebellious, beautiful, and very popular girl at school. Despite their contrasting personalities, the two are close friends. In the same group with Frankie is Jeff, played by Lawrence Fox, a wealthy and arrogant young man who often takes on the role of the provocateur, creating tension and sarcasm in the group's conversations. Meanwhile, Jeff is best friends with the handsome and aloof Mike, portrayed by Desmond Harrington. Mike is the son of a famous rock star, and as part of the elite circle of wealthy students, he shares the same cold and arrogant demeanor. Because of his prominence, Mike becomes the object of many girls' attention at school, admired for both his wealth and his cool, attractive appearance. For Liz, the image of Mike has long been deeply imprinted in her mind. She is obsessed with his elusive charm and harbors a passionate, blind infatuation. Liz, as a girl consumed by love, willing to sacrifice her self-respect just to catch Mike's attention. She even changes her hairstyle and chases forced trends, only to become the subject of ridicule among her classmates. A crucial link in the story appears in the form of Martin, played by Daniel Brocklebank, a clumsy, introverted young man who has secretly loved Liz for a long time. Because of his unrequited feelings, Martin decides to help Liz carry out her plan to approach and win over the boy of her dreams. But from that very choice, the film gradually unfolds into a horrifying chain of tragedies, where youthful desires quickly spiral into an inescapable nightmare. To set up a perfect plan, Martin came up with a strange idea that would allow the group of friends to experience something different from their usual lives. A party in an abandoned underground bunker near the school grounds where they could go wild without anyone knowing. This locked chamber was a confined space, dimly lit and completely isolated from the outside world, a place for the group to reveal their true selves and confront their private emotions. During their time trapped underground, Liz could not stop longing for Mike. However, contrary to her expectations, Mike only paid attention to Frankie. His indifference left Liz increasingly disappointed, and from there, her psychological instability began to build up, slowly smoldering into a dangerous obsession. Director Nick Hamm employed close-up shots, tight spaces, and a rapid editing pace to create a sense of suffocation, amplifying the fear and tension felt by both the characters and the audience. After 3 days passed without any sign of Martin, the prolonged silence became an ominous warning, heightening the atmosphere of claustrophobia and despair inside the bunker. As food and water gradually ran out, the group began to fall into overwhelming panic. Amid the growing severity of their situation, in a desperate moment, Liz suddenly confessed to Mike the truth, that it was Martin who had conspired to trap them inside the sealed bunker. The hidden motive slowly came to light. Martin's ultimate goal was to make Mike hate Liz, so that Liz would turn to him for comfort. Yet once the group uncovered this dark scheme, they united to stage a counterplot and shatter his plan. When dawn finally broke, they escaped from the pit in a state of exhilaration and returned to their normal lives. Just when it seems they have conquered fate, the real tragedy begins as Liz yearns to return to the bunker once more. This time, the game in the dark turns into a horrifying nightmare, driving the group into a desperate struggle for survival, where trust is tested, betrayal erupts, jealousy burns, and ultimately, only the instinct to survive remains. Everything repeats again. Although the group is mentally prepared for the adventure and fully equipped, true tragedy strikes when isolation, hunger, and tension shatter every boundary. The film's final twist is a psychological confrontation, where the thin line between life and death creates an intense allure. The whole unfolds like a psychological nightmare, revealing how far human beings can go in the name of love. There are no demons lurking in that dark pit. What's truly terrifying is a young girl allowing her mind to be distorted by her obsession with a boy. The whole stands as a powerful metaphor for the entrapment within the human psyche. Within that narrow and suffocating space, emotional conflicts and the vague impulses of adolescence quickly erupt into tragedy. The film is not merely a horror movie, but more importantly, a psychological drama that directly delves into the fragile human soul. Liz is not only a victim of blind love, but also a cold and manipulative figure. Although both she and Martin start from unrequited love, Martin becomes the sacrifice, turned into the one falsely accused of trapping the group, and his unconditional help becomes a cruel snare. In contrast, Liz's unrequited love gradually slips into extremity, distorting her reason and transforming her into a ruthless, inhuman perpetrator. Thora Birch delivers a brilliant performance, portraying a clumsy girl whose inner world is unpredictable. The film's brisk pacing and cool-toned palette evoke an atmosphere of tension and suspense. The screenplay is excellently crafted, not only telling a gripping story, but also layered with depth. Sadly, despite its unique appeal, the film remains little known to global audiences and is often overlooked among more prominent works of its time. Interestingly, after the release of the film adaptation of After the Whole, author Guy Burt devoted himself to becoming a full-time writer. Since the screenplay is based on the novel, it stands as the story's greatest success. The film paints a heartbreaking portrait. Liz is both the cause of the tragedy and the victim of her own obsession with love. Even as we may resent her, it's hard not to feel compassion for her loneliness and suffering. If classical literature often depicts the tragedy of love through grand romances, The Whole instead tells a haunting story of secret love, a kind of affection that, when taken to the extreme, becomes the very source of catastrophe. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. See you again in the next videos.